Have you ever wanted to fully feel like Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen and Destiny 2? Wanting the full limitless and six size build instead of just domain expansion or just infinite hollow purples, just the full thing? Well, despite Destiny and Marathon's current situation, here it is. Now, unlike most Destiny 2 build videos, we're gonna go through the specific details of all of Gojo's abilities instead of just going through the prismatic and the. You get the point. So, despite Destiny 2 not having full infinity, like just, ooh, you can block everything, because that would be way too meta and OP, we can have a couple things that can somewhat make it like infinity. So, the first thing we can use is Facet of Protection by being more tanky when you're surrounded by others, and it will also go better when you're in Prismatic, which just makes it a whole lot better. Now, half or a third or a quarter or whatever you will take will be the stat build will be Bulwark, aka Health, which will also make you feel more tanky. Now, we also will have Feed the Void, which will contribute to a couple things, but it can also be Infinity by constantly healing you and whatnot. And Bleak Watcher kind of helps because it freezes everybody, but we save that for the best part of the build and my personal favorite. Now, for the next part, we're gonna have the normal limitless stuff. Your red, your blue, your purple, domain expansion, whatnot. So for red, we're gonna have Pocket Singularity, aka Gojo's main form of attack in the manga and anime. So what the special part about Pocket Singularity is, it kind of does act red. It makes weaker enemies die, or just take a lot of damage and then die, and then it just pushes stronger enemies back, which will, like red. And then for blue, we're gonna have Vortex Grenade. So, obviously, it's gonna pull enemies to the spot. Not the strongest, not the best, but you can use it. I mean, it's not the best crucial part of the build. And then next we have purple, which is gonna be our super, whatever you call it, Nova Bomb. It's just like purple. It makes big kaboom, big damage, just like Gojo's Hollow Purple. Now, this is my favorite part of the build. Our Infinite Void domain expansion, Infinite Void, whatever you want to call it. So you're gonna hold down the grenade, and this is where Bleak Watcher comes in, because this also is a big part because of our exotic Rhyme Coat Ramen, or at least that's how I think you pronounce it. But Rhyme Coat Ramen just makes Bleak Watcher bigger and better and like a domain. So what it can do is, it can give you a little turret, like a little mini turret besides the main turret. It has a bigger space, it's gonna freeze, it's gonna deal better damage, it's just better, bigger, and whatnot. And this is also like Infinity, because since this little mini turret thing is gonna give you, when you shoot people and you're inside that little domain that's around the turret, it's gonna give you a little freezing part, which, doesn't that sound like Infinity? And that's practically everything for the normal limitless stuff. Now, this is what I like to call where the build gets pretty darn OP. What contributes to Six Eyes? What gives your abilities back? So Feed the Void is going to give you Devour anytime you use an ability, red, blue, your Pocket Singularity, Nova Bomb, whatnot. And Facet of Hope is going to make it so that when you have Devour, your class ability is going to regenerate quickly. Holy stutter. And this is where I like to lean into the Six Eyes part. If you go to the leg mods, you're going to have Kinetic Holster, Kinetic Scavenger, and Void Holster, which is going to hopefully reload your guns quicker, correct me if I'm not. Which kind of sounds like Six Eyes, doesn't it? Recharging and whatnot. And in your Warlock Bond, you're going to have it so that you have Distribution, holy stutter, Bomber, and Outreach, which is also going to give you your abilities back, which will just go into a cycle of usability, Devour, Facet of Hope, use your Rift, and then repeat. Also, I forgot to mention this is warlock. Also, I forgot to mention that we have healing rift. Oopsie on me. Now on to the other stuff, like our exotic gun, and our main gun and heavy, and just the weapons. So, we're gonna have Witherhoard for the exotic guns, which is really gonna help out our blue grenade domain or whatnot, and it also has good damage overall, in my opinion. And you're also gonna want a void hand cannon with destabilizing rounds, demoralize, I probably pronounced that wrong, and accelerated assault, because with this combination, if you shoot a person next to another person, it's gonna make them volatile and make them go kaboom, which is really gonna help out ad clear wise. And time for the mods that I missed. So in the helmet, you're gonna want a grenade mod, special ammo, and special ammo scout, finder and scout, and a heavy ammo finder. And then in the arms, you're gonna have a class mod, momentum transfer, focusing strike, bolstering detonation. And in our chest piece, or our exotic, we're gonna have a class mod, harmonic ammo generation, sniper resistance damage, and sniper resistance damage. That doesn't really matter. Pick what you want. I hate snipers, so I just kind of use that. Really helps out. In our boots, like I stated before, we're going to have kinetic holster, kinetic scavenger, and void holster with a grenade stat, or a grenade mod. And then we're going to have health mod, distribution, bomber, and outreach. And in the helmet, you want a brawler archetype. Gauntlets, you want the Grenader archetype. Chest, I went with Bulwark. Grenader for the legs. And Bulwark for the bond. I probably pronounced that wrong. Okay, so now we're gonna do a little demonstration, and I'll do two. I'll do one for weak enemies and one for strong enemies. So let's just get this. So like I said before, red's kind of simple. You just throw it at it, they take damage, and go kaboom. Now for blue, this is the best part for blue in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of my version of blue. It's kind of simple. All you gotta do, just throw it down, and then it sucks them in, and then basic stuff. And then I guess you could just help them out with Witherhoard, shooting, kaboom. And then as for the stronger enemies, well, I forgot domain, but you can see we have Devour, keep throwing it, brings it back, super fun. And then we also have domain. How do I reset those? So we go here, and then we go here, and then we go here, and then, did that not reset them? Okay, well next up we have the stronger ones then. And this is where the best part comes in. So we have all these big guys right here, right? Get to charge it up, and bam! Infinite Void's now here. Kind of comes after them. We have a little bit of an infinity buff right here with our Bleak Domain perk. And then we also have Nova Bomb, which is just Nova Bomb, bing, bam, boop. Transcendence, nothing that fancy. Just makes you have red quicker. And I'd say this is the best for ad clear. Maybe we put in more Witherhoard. I'd say this is the best for ad clear or for Grandmasters than anything else. I mean, I could just make a PvE variant because look what happens if I try to cash in damage. So we have Carl. Hi, Carl. And then here's how it would go. This down, and then Witherhoard, Nova Bomb, wrong button. We have Transcendence, which is just going to give us even more. And this is all just to show you how this is morally made for Grandmaster damage, or just Grandmaster overall, instead of your just generic basic raid, PvP, yeah, PvP. Yeah, because you do all of this, and you just cash in. Well, hold on. He's almost done. Oh, yeah. And because it's, Lawless Frontier Renegades release, we have the special kinetic kaboom spots. I forgot the exact name. You know, pink, boop, pop. And then all of this cashes in for a good. Oh wait, how is it still going? Oh. And you cash all of that in for 31,921 damage, or 128 DPS per second. And yeah, that's the Gojo build. Tell me if you like it. This is not exactly the greatest build in my opinion. If you have any like recommendations for more builds or how to make this build even better, please tell me. Alright, bye bye. I don't know how to do an outro, so.